I'm Brian Clark at CineSport, looking around the NFL with Howard Balzer of the Sports Exchange. And Howard, that Thursday night game, not the most exciting through three quarters, but it picked up in the fourth. A nice win for the Jaguars over the Titans, 19-13. Jags right in the thick of things in the AFC South because the division isn't very good. But when you look at the future of this division, are we getting a look that it could be good in a couple of years, especially with all of these good young quarterbacks?
I definitely think we could be, and we've seen what Bortles can do as he grows and gets better. Obviously, Mariota in time is going to be a pretty good quarterback. Andrew Luck, he'll get back healthy, obviously, and the Colts are still should be a force in that division. And even Houston, if they can ever find a quarterback and decide who it's going to be, coupled with that defense, they can be a pretty good team. And heck, even without much quarterbacking, they won 9 games last season. So in a couple, 3 years, yes, we could see this as a very, very strong division, even though obviously it's not showing itself to be that way right now.
Okay, so speaking of young quarterbacks, Broncos are starting one this week in Brock Osweiler. He fills in for Peyton Manning against the Bears. What does Denver need from Osweiler, not only this week, but for however long he's going to play with Peyton still hurt and ineffective?
Pretty simple, really. Throw the ball to your own team. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, when you look at Manning's numbers, I mean, it's just historic in terms of his career, the interceptions. The rest of his numbers aren't that bad, but the interceptions have just killed this team. So if Osweiler can just do that, make some plays here and there, they need to run the ball a little bit better, obviously, but couple that with defense and don't turn it over, and I think the Broncos can still be pretty good. I mean, they managed to win a bunch of games when Manning wasn't playing well, and you would think that Osweiler can at least do close to as good as Manning was in those early games of the season.
Okay, so the Cowboys get Tony Romo back this week. They, of course, have lost 7 straight, but are still in the thick of things in the NFC East. So they've got a big game with Miami, but you look at some other teams that were doing very well. Now, all of a sudden, not the case. The Falcons, the Rams, the Jets, the Packers. Which team would you say is in the diciest situation this week?
I think it could be the Packers, really. When you look at where they are, they were undefeated, the toast of the league, along with the other undefeated teams just a few short weeks ago. And now, all of a sudden, they're not even in first place in the division. And if Minnesota can win this game this week, they've got a 2-game lead with not a whole lot of weeks left. And, of course, these two teams play again the final week of the season. And you have to look at the Packers. If they would lose again 4 in a row, then they really have to start questioning themselves. And I think that's a team that needs to run it better. Maybe they were able to mask for several weeks not having Jordy Nelson, but now they just don't look like a very good football team. And Minnesota is very solid being able to run the football. So if they would lose this one, I think they could be in trouble in that division.
And that should be an interesting game on Sunday in Minnesota. Howard Balzer of the Sports Exchange. Thanks, Howard.